Alright, hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about how to get the perfect pops. If you have the new version of APR Stage 2 pops and bangs, this is very different from the first version. The first version, you pretty much get the loudest pops wherever you are in the RPMs. Now this newer one is more randomized and they're longer, so they last a lot longer than the older ones. However, the newer ones also require a little bit of a method to make them truly the loudest they possibly can be. One of the things I want to recommend to you guys, whoever has a sunroof, make sure you actually peep it open a little bit. You can even open your sunroof all the way. Now, I'm sorry that's a little bit shaky. The road I'm driving on is a little bit bumpy. But anyway, so open your sunroof just a little bit, because instead of your windows, for some reason for me, I get the best crispy sounding pops and crackles, almost like snaps, you know, with my sunroof open. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you guys really want a clean sounding pop and bang, pop that sunroof open. That's all you need. You don't even need to do the windows. You can do the windows, but if you want that crisp snap, do the sunroof. So alright, so now on to this part. Now one thing I want to just make very clear with you guys is, and I'm hoping you guys have the TCU Tune as well, unless you're manual gearbox, of course. I recommend driving this in manual to get the best pops. The Sport Auto with the TCU Tune, and not just the TCU Tune in general, but it just doesn't work to get the right pops. It kind of just shifts before you get to that really nice RPM zone. And so that's what I'm going to move on to. So now that we're in our manual setting, to get the best pops and bangs, which you really want to be, you kind of want to be hovering around 38 to like 4,200 RPMs. And 4,000 RPMs is really the sweet spot. And I'll show you guys kind of the results I get. I know it's a little bit drony in here and I apologize, but so as you guys can kind of see, now I'm sort of floating around the area where I want to be. And you can probably hear, now this can be kind of consistent as long as you're, maybe if you're going down a hill, you can obviously still give it some throttle. As you guys can hear, I'm getting those consistent bangs, and that's kind of what we want. That's kind of the aggressive setting. So one thing I could do is, and I'll show you, so anything lower, around like 3,000 RPMs, it's gonna burble. It won't sound as loud. In fact, sometimes you may not even be able to hear it depending on how aggressive your exhaust is. But as you guys can hear, it's just burble. So again, we'll spike it back up to 4K. And that's pretty much the peak. That's where you kind of want to be. Now the beauty about the pops and bangs is you can kind of keep just tapping the throttle and like just barely tapping it, and it'll keep a consistent pop going. Kind of like that. So one thing I do want to say is, and a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, how do you get these things to, you know, can you make them even louder by revving it higher? And that's actually not the case. You can't make these get much louder because, you know, if you start revving past around 4,500, then they just kind of it doesn't sound good. And I'll give you kind of an example. As you guys can kind of hear, it almost seems like the pops just can't keep up with the RPM. So that's just something to keep in mind. So like I said, 4,000, around 38 to 42, that's your sweet spot. I had one person asking about this, so I wanted to just kind of make clear. But yeah, that's your sweet spot. So I actually did have another question. Someone was asking, how do you get the pops and bangs to enable when you're revving? Now, this actually, initially when I reviewed this thing, I think I even said I didn't know how to make the car, you know, pop and bang when I was just revving it, just, you know, from a standstill, or just in park, I guess you could say. And it's very doable. You just need to rev it super high. And I know that kind of contradicts what I said when you're driving it. You don't want to rev it super high when you're driving to get the pops and bangs. But the only way to get pops and bangs even at all when you're revving it in park is to rev all the way as high as you possibly can. For me, I think it's around 5,000 RPMs. And then when I hit 5,000, they start to activate. So it's kind of like, ooh, you know, you're revving your car like a lot. Like you have to, you know, hit 5,000 RPMs. That's a lot of revving. So You know, it's comfort level. If you guys want to rev the piss out of it, then that's how you get the pops and bangs. Obviously, don't do it a lot, but you can do it a couple times. It's not going to, you know, hurt it that bad. But yeah, so you need to rev it to 5,000 RPMs to activate the pops and bangs, just as a standstill. Now, one thing I do want to point out is the pops and bangs, as far as driving goes, you'll always hear them. However, you know, below the kind of the peak threshold of noise, they'll just kind of be more burbles, a little bit of snaps here and there, but mostly, you know, around 2,500, that kind of the cruising RPMs, you're gonna get some burbles, as you can hear right there. So, and I like the burbles. The burbles are really nice. It's almost like that BMW burble, and BMWs, they just burble so nicely. So with that said, hopefully guys, hopefully I clarified some things for you guys. I know a lot of people are still interested in going pops and bangs tune. It's a great tune. I really highly recommend it, honestly, for any of you guys with GTIs or Golf Rs. But yeah, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for all the endless support. It means so much to me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.